That's all well and good, but now I need to set my brush. Okay. Now, of course, this is my working copy of Painter. Everything in here is already set the way it's supposed to be. And to make things more confusing, I'm in Painter 12, not Painter 13. My personal copy is not Painter 13. So things are a little different. But the concepts remain the same. Two things you want to set up right away. You want to set up your preferences. So you can go to Edit, Preferences, Interface. Okay? And you are going to set your brush the way it appears and your workspace options, your units. You're going to set this to inches. By default, it's in points. Actually, no, by default it's pixels. We don't want pixels. We want inches. This background color they're referring to is not your canvas. It's this field back here. So if you change that color to something else, when I hit OK, that'll be that background color, which is really aggravating. And I don't know for sure what the original color was. Might have been good to check that. But so I'm going to set it back at least to a grayscale. Okay. Yeah. So I've set the preferences for the interface for the inches. Now I want to set it for my brush. When you open yours, it's going to have brush selected, okay, and then it will probably have enhanced brush ghost as well. They like to make it fancy. So when you open yours, yeah, we don't even have that here in Painter 12. It's hard for me to duplicate what you get. I'll try one more time. Yeah, this was what it looked like in Painter 12. An annoying little brush. Okay? Really, really tedious looking thing. In the new Painter 13, it looks like a magic wand, which is even more annoying than that. So, you want to, in your interface preferences, set your brush stroke. Now, in Painter 12, if I hit single pixel, I'm good. It does what I want it to do. If I increase the size, it gets a little bigger, if, you know, and what have you. But in Painter 13 it doesn't. So we have to go one step further. We have to take it, I was going to say, yeah, actually this is what I set it to in mine. I set it to iconic single pixel. Okay. But in Painter 13, now see, it's funny, it keeps taking it back. In Painter 13 it doesn't correct this for you. In Painter 13, make sure you set it to single pixel here on iconic, and then set it to single pixels here as well. Painter 12 kind of did that automatically for me. Painter 13 doesn't. So make sure that these two things are set, and this is the one that's highlighted. Okay? So the next thing you have to set about your brush is the parameters of the brush itself. What we just said is not how the brush works. What we just said is how the brush looks. Okay? How the brush looks and how it behaves are two different things. Okay? It's looking right now. You know, this is the way I want it to look. Okay? But it's not behaving the way I want it to behave. By the way, this isn't working correctly. I'm setting it like we do in class. But unfortunately, no matter how much I change this size, my marker is staying the same, and I don't want that. So you get to bear with me while I figure out why that is. If I set brush ghost. Yes, so in Painter 12, I have to set brush ghost. I hope that doesn't confuse you too much. In Painter 12, it's brush ghost, single pixel. make sure in your copy it works the same, because it's really helpful to be able to see that circle on your canvas change sizes, so you have a visual clue as to how big your brush is going to be. Okay, but now I want to set how the brush is going to function. So we're going to go to Window, and we're going to go to Brush Control Panel, General, which is also just Control B. These look similar in 12 and 13, but not exactly the same. You want to make sure that you come down here to the General selection, and in Painter 12 I believe that's up here on top, in Painter 13 I'm sorry, up on top. The default, oh I missed the most important part, I'm sorry guys. Also, when you open yours you will not have blue jewelry because you haven't even made that brush, okay? When you open yours you will have real 2B pencil. This is the default in Painter. We don't want that. We're going to set it to 2B pencil. Okay? We do that before we bring up the brush window. Control B. Okay. And you'll see that once again mine's been set. Yours is not going to have cover. Yours is going to have, under method, yours is going to say build up and grainy soft buildup. This is the default you're going to get when you open yours up. Set it to what mine was, what it should be, and that is cover, grainy soft cover. Okay? And then you want to set the dab profile. Now in your palettes in Painter 13, that's actually this tab right here. Where mine says angle, you'll find a tab that says that says dab profile. Click on that tab, and when you do, set the profile to a linear profile, the shallow point. Okay? Once you've done that, you have set your brush. So again, set it to 2B. It's going to come in as real 2B. So you're going to change that to just regular 2B. You're going to Control B to bring up the brush. You're going to make sure it's set method cover, subcategory grainy soft cover, and on this tab in your software you'll see a tab for dab profile, and you will set that to linear profile. In fact, let's see if I can do that. Yes. So in yours it will be here, okay? And that's where you'll find linear profile, the small point. Alright, so now we have our brush set up the way we want it, and we have our file intact. We're going to be switching back and forth quite a bit. By the way, this color set is on our website. Both of these are. I have not gone over how to bring those in yet, but we'll go into that next week. But all it is a dark gray. So in your case, you'll go to color and set it somewhere. This is set to 90, so somewhere between 70 and 90. And then the other color, you can click on this little triangle here, and you would set that to white, so that you can draw, and you can switch colors by tapping on this little icon here. The faster way is to use the keyboard shortcut Shift-X, and that allows me to do it as I'm moving around. And the easiest way still is to actually set your Wacom pen so that when you are in Painter 12, and you would come here and you would click Painter 12 so you know that you're in that program, you would set, and if Painter 12 is not here, you would add it from a list of programs. So it appeared here, then you would click on it, then you would come to your pen and you would set the back half of your toggle switch to right click by using clicks, right click. You would set the front portion of that button, that toggle, to a keystroke, and that keystroke would be Shift X. Okay? And then you don't have to hit OK or anything in the painter, in the Wacom. Just once it's done, it's already been set, and click on X. And now when I hit that front toggle button, you'll see that it switches back and forth, which is the best way to go. There are very few shortcuts that we use in Painter. I will go into them here very briefly. B is brush, R is select, F is floater, layer adjuster. Okay. W is close canvas. Control A, select all. And then the regular windows, C, copy, and V, paste. I'm not even going to go into those because you should all know those by now. Control X, we just used that one, so I'll put it here. Is cut. Oh, and then zooming in and out. Control spacebar. Get you the little magnifying glass. Click and you will zoom in. Center it around where you. Well, it's supposed to center around where you clicked. And then to zoom out, it's Control Alt spacebar. Okay, so there are your shortcuts. I'm going to be doing the drawing exercise that we did in class using mirror drawing. Mirror drawing in Painter is located right here. Click on that and it will bring up a crosshair in the middle of your screen. When it's fully enabled, it gives you vertical and horizontal crosshair. When that is set like that, anything you draw will be mirrored across and above and below. Okay. By the way, that's all. Control Z, which is undo. Control Y is redo. Windows standard again. If I come back, activate the symmetrical painting, mirror painting, if I turn off the horizontal plane, then when I draw, and I can't draw until I activate my brush again, and whatever is highlighted in blue over here is the tool that's currently in use. Okay? So I hit B and that gives me my brush back. Now it will only mirror from side to side. Okay. The other variant within mirror painting is to do radial. And radial allows you to draw the details in a rotary fashion based on a number that you have set here. That's set to 3. You can set it up to 12. Now see, I just turned that into a selection window by hitting R, and you can see the selection is activated so that I can delete what I had drawn before so that now I can activate my brush, which is B, so that I can show you that effect. Okay, so all good things to play with, but for the purpose of our exercise I want regular mirroring, and I only want it to be active vertically. Okay, now it does bear talking a little bit about what you're seeing over here, just because you'll be curious. Okay, this is your paintbrush, this is your eyedropper. Eyedropper allows you to select any color in your scene, in your canvas, by clicking on it with the eyedropper, and that becomes the active color. Okay? Sorry, thought I was trying to copy, and I wasn't. Go back and get my drawing color back. Okay, so that's the eyedropper. You have paint bucket. If you hit a paint bucket, you can draw a selection, and when you tap the paint bucket into that selection, it fills it. Okay, if you have no bucket select, no selection, it'll fill the entire layer. Okay, this is the eraser. You will never ever ever use it. Forget it's there. Here's your floater adjuster. Floater adjuster allows you to drag around your layer. Rectangular selection, we've been using that a bit. If you come up here and you change it to oval selection, then instead of drawing rectangles, you will draw ovals. You can constrain either the oval or the rectangle by holding down the Shift key, in which case the ovals will always, in which case the ovals will always be circles, and the rectangles will always be squares. Control D is a really good shortcut. Select none. If you get a really strange looking selection going, hit Control D and it will clear all of Painter's memory of selections, so you can start fresh. Okay? Magic Wand, it's a way of selecting. Anywhere you tap, Painter will try and figure out what it is that you were trying to select so that you can fill it. Okay? It's a quick way of selecting. This is a selection adjuster, too complicated to talk about right now. This is crop. This crops your canvas when you're done to whatever you want. We're not going to use that right away. Pen tool allows you to draw vector lines in Painter, as if you were an illustrator or a rhino. You click and drag, and then you can control these handles. Okay, but there's a whole art form to doing that. We're not going to go into that either. There's no reason to ever use this tool. We have so many better tools to do the same thing. Rectangular shape draws a rectangle, a vector rectangle, as if you were in Rhino or Illustrator. That is useful, particularly when you can use the oval as well to draw circles for ring bores, for example. Okay, so that can come in handy. Alright. Quick curve allows you to draw freehand, and then it creates a vector curve, and you can come back and play with the control points. I didn't show you that while I was there. I tried, but I couldn't get the pop out to work. There we go. Text is if you want to put text into your drawing. All of that is available. Like a word processing, you can change the font, the spacing. This is to select shapes, including how to control those, to play with those control points, add points, remove points, cut curves. This really is part of this tool. Basically, this section of tools are all vector. Okay. That's a cloning brush. It's a very sophisticated tool we won't be using. Dodging is something used for photograph editing to lighten or darken areas. Read about it in the book. We won't be using it. Mirror painting, we've been discussing that. Divine proportion, it's useless. Grabber allows you to pan from side to side your canvas. That's really ridiculous. We won't ever be using that because the default for that is the same as in Illustrator and Photoshop. Spacebar gives you the same tool. Zoom, there are shortcuts for that. We'll never use it. Rotate page, we'll never use that. Not in this location. In their color swatches you know about. And this allows you to play with your papers, but that's advanced. Okay, so we'll talk about some of these things in more detail later, obviously, but that gives you an idea of what this row of buttons does. Now let's get back to our homework. I need to locate the 6-prong template with the prong in the middle, and that's this one right here. And I want to make it centered up on my symmetry or mirror painting line. So I'm going to hit F to get my layer adjuster, floater adjuster out. Because I'm slightly OCD, I like to have this lined up somewhere near this horizontal 0, 0 dot. Okay. Now I am skipping a step that I should not have skipped.